The only podcast coming through your beat stereo. It's Cherie's World, so let's go around like a merry-go. Plug your phone in, make sure it got a full battery. Download it Wednesday, listen to it Saturday. She cover all topics, whatever you after. She got ball players, authors, doctors, actors, rappers, singers, entrepreneurs, divas, leaders. Androids or Apple, turn up your speakers. Trying to shoot my shot like the vaccine. Whether it's Cherie or Maxine, whether the podcast or acting, she that queen. PYT, you know what that mean. Saw you on TV and touch the screen. Touch on you, I plead Lucy's got a crush on you. It'll mean the world to get a blush from you. Teaspoon to me, leave you sleep like Robitussin do.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Cherie's World Podcast. I am Cherie Johnson. My co-host is Mr. Courtney Blackman, and today I am extra excited. I'm a huge fan of his, okay? And I believe that he is one of the best safeties that the NFL has ever seen, Mr. Will Allen.
Too flattery. Thank you so much. Obviously, I'm a huge fan of yours. I think you know that. I think we had this conversation years ago. I can't remember. I want to say social media connected, but I think we actually had a conversation. Somebody else was like bringing us together over some podcast, and we talked about the Steelers.
Yes,
and that's
my old boss, Gerald Brown, from the Bottom Line Sports Show with Penny Hardaway and Charles Oakley.
That's what it was. That's what brought us together. We started following each other on social media, and here we are today. So, how you doing?
I am great, and I am so excited that you came back to talk to us here. Gerald Brown, I love you. I appreciate you. But this show ain't about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
No, we don't like the Bucs. Even though I played for them, we ain't talking about them.
I love it. He was a huge Buck fan, but I told him, I said, you're a Buck fan and that's cute and all, but I've been a fan longer. And he was like, how is that possible? I was like, Ohio State, baby.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I didn't know you were a Buckeyes fan too.
Yes.
Wow. So many synergies, a lot of alignment here. We got to get you to a game. You got to come to a game then.
I would love to.
Have you ever been? Been?
No.
What are we doing? What are we talking about?
I mean, I'm from Pittsburgh, so going to Ohio and watch football, this is something that never really has happened.
I got you. We can make that happen, though.
I love it. We got to do it. Courtney, I'm not going to monopolize the conversation, even though I'm like going to keep jumping in because all my testosterone is like up right now.
Testosterone. Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know women get testosterone.
They got a little bit. They got a little bit. A little bit. Okay.
Of course. You do know that 75% of all football fans are women, right, Courtney?
No, I agree with that. I just didn't know about the testosterone in women. That's what I was confused at.
Oh, yeah. So,
all right. But real quick, Courtney, I gotta get on you for a minute now.
Uh-oh.
Just a minute, because I actually listen to the podcast. I actually watch. I actually see some of the stuff that's going on. I'm a fan for real. I saw the year review, like all the guests you guys had. Like it was phenomenal, right? Mm-hmm. But you gotta pick one. I see the Jordan jersey and the Kobe jersey. You gotta pick one.
That's easy.
All right.
I'm from Chicago. I'm picking Kobe Bryant.
What?
That's right.
All right.
That's right.
All right.
Kobe.
All right.
I got to pick one.
Jordan's my all-time favorite. So I love Jordan. He's my all-time favorite.
Me too.
That's number 2 for me. But Kobe.
Yeah. I got you.
Okay, wait. I'm confused. I know this is Will's interview. How did Kobe come in and surpass Jordan as your favorite? Because obviously Jordan had to be your favorite first.
Well,
right?
He was, but the thing is, I saw Jordan play at his best. When I saw Jordan play, he was always on top. I saw Kobe struggle and become a champion and then falter again and then become a champion again. And people hate him and just retire with grace. So I saw Kobe's whole career. I I might look old, but I'm born in 1980. So I didn't see the older Jordan when he struggled and stuff. By the time I started watching basketball for real, Jordan was winning championships. So
got you. All right. Respect.
I guess that makes sense.
Yeah.
So let's go back to you, Will, and let's talk football for a second. Because I want to get on personal business too, if you don't.
Let's do it. All of it.
If I say too much, you can tell me, Cherie, I ain't answering that. That's none of your business. Okay.
All right. Okay.
But so you go from Ohio State, you get drafted to Tampa.
Yep.
They never let you play to your full potential, right? You leave Tampa and you go to Pittsburgh the first time. What was that like? What was the difference in the franchises and how did you feel coming to Pittsburgh?
All right. It's really hard to describe. And, I'm 20, I get drafted at 20. And, I'm young compared to like NFL players. Like I'm a younger, athlete. And, I'm 20, I don't know nothing, and my parents, working class family, like didn't even teach me about college. Like, just to be honest with you, right? Never told me anything. Just go to college. Like, don't go to jail. Don't get a girl pregnant. Go to college. That was it. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. So I stepped on campus and it was just a different world. Like, I was 170 pounds going against 300-pound, 22-year-old, 21-year-old grown man. I was 18 at Ohio State. And that was just a shock for me. And then I adjusted. And so I never thought the league was in the plan. I went to school to get education, and that's what was told to me, get your education. And it was free. And my dad told me, he's like, you ain't going to college unless you go athletically, because I ain't got the money to pay for it. Like, that's exactly what he said, and I was just like, all right, well, I got to get this paper because don't nobody in my family got it. So I went to go get it. And then I got better. Like I made these leaps and bounds and made all these great plays. And then somebody tapped me on my shoulder, like, hey, you can make it to the NFL. I was like, okay, like, I guess it's a real thing for me. So my senior year, I took it, like, I always took it serious, but I stepped my game up another level and I became an All-American. We had another chance to go back to the national championship. And then I got drafted. And I didn't know how to buy a house. I didn't know about taxes. I didn't know about how to get a car. I never bought a car before. None of these things, right? And I'm 20, at this time. And you're in this world and all you do is like run fast or play football. And that's it. Like you who you going to talk to? Your agent basically like leaves you alone and you go to spring ball and you get drafted and it's just a shock. It happens like this very, very fast. And before you know it, the season's here. So I'll say my experience getting drafted was great. I thought I was going to get drafted higher than what I did because I was better than a lot of the players, except for maybe like a few of them, but I didn't. And I enjoyed being on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers team because I learned a lot from those veteran Hall of Fame players. Like, it was a veteran team. Derek Brooks, Rodney Barber, Simeon Rice, Warren Sapp had just left. We had Brad John. Keyshawn had just left, but I got to meet him. I got to meet Lynch, who's now the general manager of the 49ers.
Who was the coach then?
It was Gruden.
That's
Gruden
what I was about to ask you about. Yeah. I thought that was
so. And Mike Tomlin, who's now the coach of Pittsburgh Steelers, was my DB coach. Wow. So here I am. Like, he made it easier for me because he wanted me to succeed. But he also pushed me hard because he understood my potential and talent, and he championed me a lot. Like, he really did. And that helped me make it through. But it was hard. It was very difficult to figure out who you were and how to navigate in this space. Because it's just a different level of professionalism, a different level of execution that my 20 and 21-year-old mind wasn't ready for. And I had starters ahead of me, and I thought I should have been playing in front of them. I remember, Cherie, I hated special teams so much. And they're like, Will, you gonna be on special teams? I was like, what? I said, I don't want to. I said, don't even give me a check. Like, I just want to be on a scout team then. And they were like, huh? I was like, because I want to play. And they were like, no, you're going to play, but you're not ready to be a starter. And I would be so mad. And during the games, I just wasn't happy about that situation. And then I finally get a chance to get in the game. as a defensive player, and we suck. Like, we're not playing well. We ended up like 4-12 that year. We're playing against the San Diego Chargers. Now I'm dating myself a little bit because they're not San Diego anymore. And Drew Brees was a starting quarterback. I bet nobody remembers that. This is 2000. This is 2004, and I got my very first interception off of him, and as a rookie, and I was like, "This is what it feels like. Like this is what it's about right here. Like this is what being in the NFL is about." And then I turned around and got juked by LaDainian Tomlinson for like an 80-yard run. So, it was that transition really of trying to understand how you fit in, trying to understand and be confident in what you're doing, and then not thinking too much. But to answer the question about the Steelers, I was going into year 7 when I got there. So I was ready to be on a championship caliber team. I was ready to win. I was ready to be behind a quarterback that had won Super Bowls in a stable franchise. And it was like being in college all over again, where I can just have fun and be myself. So my experience was 10 times better with the Steelers, but I feel like I needed that grind, that hard knocks, not understanding, trying to figure it out, to grow, to appreciate the game more and appreciate the level of professionalism that I had to give to the game. But Pittsburgh was way better, to answer your question.
Talk to me. I heard Keyshawn talk about it, and I heard Ryan Clark talk about it. Was Gruden as big of an asshole as they said he is, or did you have a different experience?
So, yes, Gruden is an asshole. Just call it what it is. Yeah. But I've never seen him behave in a racist way, right? I've never seen him talk that way to people. He always treated me with respect, primarily because I was on the defensive side of the ball, and he was primarily functioning on the offensive side of the ball, though he was a head coach. So, he always showed me respect. Like, we were members of the same golf club down in Tampa. So when he retired, I would see him there because he was commentating. He said, "Will, you need anything, let me know." Whenever they would come up for Monday night in the Steelers, he would invite me into the van and be with all the commentators. We just have a good time and just talk. Like, I've never seen him, other than being just a prick as a person, that's just who he is, whatever, be racist. Right. So, it was all a surprise to me, but, you just never know what people are thinking behind the scenes.
Well, let me follow that up with, because I played football in high school, so, but that ain't on your level. But what I'm saying is, I know that from coaching, we had coaches that said all type of, you name it. We had, this stuff could not fly in today's world, but we heard it all, and it was just about, man up, take it, whatever. You know what I'm saying? That's how we grew up. Do you think that that this happened to Gruden just because this world is just too sensitive, or his words are his words that they, it was an email, so I guess.
I just think that he comes from that old school, and he, like you said, like there were words and language that have been used that's always been behind closed doors. Like, that's just the nature of it. Now, and I'm not saying it's right. But in today's age, you can't do that.
Can't do it.
You know what I mean? When you have a openly homosexual person on your team, and you got people who come from different backgrounds, religions, creeds, whatever it may be, you gotta tone that down and really understand who you're serving and the position you're in, and what the NFL, what the brand stands for now, right? The old school NFL, nobody cared. This new school NFL, they ain't going for, because it's about your reputation, right? Your reputational risk as a brand at this point.
I love how you said the new school NFL. I don't want to get off of racism just yet. I don't want to harp on it, but I do want to say that there is blatant racism in the NFL, and it starts with you guys' paychecks.
Yeah, good point.
Elaborate on that.
I'm just saying that you have two men, and I don't want to call names because I happen to have favorites. So I won't say Charlie Batch And I will say, Ben, whatever his name is, two men doing the same position. I understand one is first string and one is second string, but even getting drafted or coming out the box or negotiations, they shut down negotiations of Black players so quickly, and they put a ceiling on what you guys are going to get. And then these white players come in and they're more open to negotiating. The caps are different. Why and what can we do to close that? Yeah, Courtney?
But before you answer, Will, let me elaborate on what Cherie's saying too. It's systemic racism, what she's saying, because to elaborate more, quarterbacks get paid the most money. And
correct.
If once a quarterback gets his big contract, there's nothing left for anybody else. And typically, most quarterbacks they want or have always been white players. And so you figure you get, once this guy gets his big contract, you get the scraps or you get cut or get traded or whatever. So I just want to elaborate more because I was thinking the same thing this morning, Cherie.
You know, Cherie, I think that's a really good question. And I love that you challenge everything like you do. And I love it. I think that historically the quarterback has always gotten paid higher than most positions because they touch the ball every play. And the franchise win or lose on their arm. And because now that where the league is going now, where it's a grossly pass happy league, and the defensive side of the ball can't play like they used to. Now they're putting a higher onus on those starting quarterbacks to make more money. I will push back on the pay because they're at the beginning of the season this year, first time in league history, there was like 11 or 12 Black quarterbacks starting. Right. And they all were making really, really, really good money, and I think that tide is starting to change a little bit. It's starting to convert a little bit where you want the best athlete to be at that position. And it's no longer the John Elway, Steve Young, Ben Roethlisberger type of quarterback that just stand in the pocket and throw it. You got to be mobile. You got to be smart. You got to be able to run like you a running back, and you got to be able to throw. Like you're Aaron Rodgers. So it's a much more dynamic position that you're going to start seeing more Black players play, I think, be in because they're more athletic. Hence why it's more of a Black league. Whereas 80% of the league is Black. It's a reason for that. But I do think you can distribute the pay a lot, distribute it more, not evenly, but make it more equitable across different positions. I really believe that. I don't know if that's going to happen until, more the CBA changes and more advertising money comes in. So that's just my thoughts about it.
I love the fact that you brought up that we have more Black quarterbacks now than we ever had before. Do you think that is one of the NBA's ways of apologizing to the Black community without coming out and apologizing after everything that happened with Colin? Because I can say personally, I know that the NFL viewership has fallen. The support has fallen since they let Colin go. And since they gave him so much backlash, I haven't watched a game since. And I'm a huge Steelers fan, but I am very upset with the franchise as a whole because I feel like that they missed the opportunity to speak up. And they didn't do that. So do you think that this is their makeup with us?
Of course. I mean, it goes back to me stating that reputational risk, right? If most of your players are Black, a lot of your viewership is probably going to be Black, and they want to make sure that they are represented in this culture. And as you mentioned, more women are starting to be more fans or buying more merchandise. I think women are a little bit more empathetic to racial issues. I think women are a bit more empathetic to being treated fairly because they've been in those positions, especially Black women, right? So I think that when you see that now, it's like they have to design a product and execute to meet their customer demand. Granted, everybody loves the sport and everybody, sports betting being involved now, so many different aspects of getting more fan engagement. But if you lose the fans based on your lack of sensitivity towards racism, then you've done the fans a disservice. So I think that, yes, more. I don't think it's an excuse or them trying to make up. I think there really is really good black talent. And I think they had to recalibrate their thinking on that position and who's talented and where the league is going. So you want to put the best players there. And I think this is a result of that, a part of it, so if that makes sense.
I love it. I love the fact that you talked about merchandising too. Got to give it up to my Aunt Karen. I got on my Steeler bracelet today, and my nephew Ollie. I got my Steeler.
Nice, nice.
Hey,
nice.
Can I follow back up with what Cherie said? I checked the ratings on Christmas Day, the NBA, and that's supposed to be the NBA's day, and the NFL ran 2 games, and it wasn't even close. The NFL ain't losing no viewership, and the NBA has been more progressive when it comes to race. And it ain't even close. I just want to say that. Number 2, when it comes to, I know it's a salary cap league. I think personally, the quarterback should just have their own, shouldn't even be part of the salary cap. Quarterback, everybody knows you need a quarterback. Let them have their own whatever. And then the rest of the team, put them, okay, if you want to have a salary cap, which I think is ridiculous anyway, put the rest of the team in the salary cap or whatever, because there'll be more money, for everybody, you know what I'm saying? But that's just my opinion. And I want to ask you this question. We are seeing a lot more black quarterbacks, and they're more mobile. But I hate to say it. I hope I don't sound like a Jason Whitlock type person, but all the
we don't like Jason Whitlock.
We don't like Jason Whitlock, but all the black mobile quarterbacks, they at home. The hell, they didn't even make it to the playoffs except for
Kyle.
He made it, and he looked terrible.
Yeah, I mean it's his first time though, right?
Yeah.
That's a really great. That's a really great point you made, and I think the difference is if you look at age, right? You got to look at age. You got to look at maturity and experience. So the quarterbacks who are a little bit more experienced and have led their teams typically are the ones that make it far in the playoffs, right? You hardly ever see a rookie or a second-year player take their team far in the playoffs. You just don't see it. Right.
Patrick
I mean,
Mahomes.
Ben is an anomaly, right? Like he went his first year starting, he went 15-1. Next year, 2004, 2005, they went to the Super Bowl. Like Patrick Mahomes, but he sat for a year or two, you know what I mean? Yeah. And then he started. Right. So it's like that experience at that position it really helps you to be prepared come playoff time, because playoffs is a different game. It's a different game than what the regular season is. And if you think because you've been lighting it up all year that you're gonna light it up in the playoffs, you got another thing coming. So a lot of these young players are at quarterback, black players. It's just experience, right? And you need a little bit of time. I will say, and I'll put a little pressure on Lamar Jackson. It's time for him. Yeah, like it's time, right? Like he's been the MVP. He's broken all these records. Like now it's time to ratchet it up. You got a defense, you got to stay healthy, and you got to take your team there. He got to cut back on the interceptions and a decision making. And I think he'll be okay.
Yeah, I agree. Totally.
Now I got to change the subject, and I have to be fair. Even though I'm a Steeler girl, you left us. In 2013, and you went to our biggest competition as far as franchises go. Like nobody else has a bigger support team. Nobody else has the merchandising. Nobody else, like you could have gone anywhere, but you went to the Dallas Cowboys, our biggest competition. I'm not going to hate because I think the franchise is remarkable. What did you learn being in Texas?
Well, Cherie, let me, I'll try to quote something that you said when somebody asked you about how to navigate, the entertainment business. You said it's business. It's not emotional. It's not feelings. It's business, right? And you gotta take it for what it is. You understand like where you sit. And that's what it was for me. It was business. I had done well for the Steelers, and I had played well for them, 2010, 11, and 12. and I was successful, and I wanted to be paid that way, and I wanted to start, and they wouldn't do it. And so I said, I'm gonna go. And Dallas wanted to pay me and had me start. So I had to go where the opportunity was. And, you know, I love this. I love Steeler Nation. You know, that is my team, that when I want to represent a team, that's the team I represent, the Pittsburgh Steelers. I don't talk about Dallas. Thank you for bringing that up.
Sorry, I mean, you weren't gone long. It was just months.
Yeah. So I'm going to give you the breakdown, the whole scenario for you.
Okay.
And I really don't talk about this. So this is like inside. I don't, like, people ask me about Dallas. I really don't talk about it. So I went there. They paid me well. I was starting. First game of the year, we play against the New York Giants on Sunday night. I get an interception, make some plays. We end up winning. The coaches tell me, Will, you're doing great. You're a leader on our team. We needed you. Like, we lost a lot of guys. Like, you know, we needed this to help our team win. Players are telling me this because I'm bringing like that Steeler energy and championship mentality to the table. So the second game we play against Kansas City, we lose by like 3 to 4 points, something crazy. But the Tony Romo either fumbled or threw an interception for a touchdown. They only scored like a couple field goals or something. We lost like 3 or 4 points. And yeah, there you go. So after that, they benched me for no reason. And I'm like, we lost the game because of me. And I was just very like perplexed on here. This is the business side. So I go to the defensive back coach. Why am I being benched? He just shrugged his shoulders. I go to the D coordinator. Why am I being benched? Shrugged their shoulders. I go to the head coach. Yo, why am I being benched? Well, you know, we just want to see what the young guy can do. You know, just gave me some roundabout excuse. And I was like, yeah, this is some BS right here. Like, you cannot give me a real answer as to why you're benching me. So it was all Cherie. I think Cherie wanted what he wanted. He wanted this young player to be in. Whereas I think the coaching staff believed in me, but ultimately it came down to his decision. I never got a real answer, you know? Wow. And so I stopped practicing. I mean, legit. I was just like, I ain't practicing. Y'all can forget it. And but what I learned in that moment is, like, I can't let people dictate who I'm going to be. I can't let people dictate my effort, my energy, and what I bring to the table. And so I got in the game, and it was like 2 games after they benched me. They put me in, and I ball out. I had like 10 plays and just did well in those 10 plays.
And I was hating.
And then they come back in the film room and said, yeah, you probably was hating. I came back in the film room, and they're like, you see this? To the rookie, this is how you're supposed to play. This is how you're supposed to dominate, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, well, I guess I'll be back in the game now, right? They said, no, we're going to play this young player. And it was just starting to get a little too weird for me, because you're giving me compliments on my play, and then the young player is not playing that well, but you still expected me to be a team guy. And at this point, I'm in my 10th year, and I had all the leverage, because at this stage, whenever you're vested as a player that's playing 3 years, 3 games, and you've never been cut before, you can get cut. That team will pay you, and the other team will pay you if you get picked back up. And I knew that. So I could double dip. So I was just like, yo, y'all got to do what y'all got to do, because I can go play for somebody else and start somewhere else. And after that week, they called me into the office on a Tuesday. They said, we're going to let you go. I said, thank you. I appreciate it. Good luck. And the next hour, I had like 3 or 4 calls from teams. And then Mike Tomlin ended up calling me and said, hey, man, we 0-4. We're not playing well. This is 2013. We're not playing well. We're 0-4. They had just got back from London. He said, we need you. I said, need me for what? I said, you could have kept me. And he said, nah, we need you, man. We need your energy. We need your leadership to help turn this thing around. I said, well, give me a week, man. I want to go down to the islands. I want to just go relax. I'm stressed out. Like, I'm super stressed out right now. I said, I can't handle all this. I said, you don't understand what I've been going through here in Dallas. Like, it's just been a mess. And I said, I don't like it. And he said, nah, we need you now. We got a game this Sunday. This is Tuesday. He's like, we got a game this Sunday. We need you on a plane tomorrow. I said, well, let me think about it. And I called him back that night. I was in practice on Thursday. I got on a plane on Wednesday, got practice on Thursday, playing the game on Sunday. And I was one of 8 players at the time to play 17 straight weeks before it was a 17-week season. So that was my 10th year. I played really, really well. Had some more interceptions for the Steelers. I mean, we went 8-8 because they were 0-4. We were 2-6 the first half of the season. Second half of the season, we went 6-2.